not to match for a combination of reasons, which I can explain. But we wish him well, and he was great for us for 2 years, and we wish him all the success with Cleveland or whatever other organization he ends up with.
How much a part of it was that he just clearly didn't really want to be with you guys?
I don't think that was a huge part of it. I mean, I think we would have welcomed him back. I think our team would have, our coach would have, we would have had it worked out. I didn't get a sense throughout the process that he was defiant and clearly wouldn't want to be back with us. Never got a strong belief that was the case. So I think if it had worked out where he came back, I think it would have been fine, and we would have moved forward with him, and hopefully it would have gone well for him and us.
Do you have any clarity at this point of what exactly his reasoning was for not signing earlier, for not signing?
Not great clarity. I haven't had any specific dialogue with him myself. I think at some point we'll maybe get some clarity on that, but I guess my best, I would surmise, maybe from a business standpoint, looking for a different opportunity somewhere else. But I honestly don't know. It's all speculation.
Bob, was there a particular turning point that influenced the decision not to match?
No. I mean, I think, like I said at the outset, it was a combination of things. One being roster flexibility. With Damien going down, we are currently operating with just 2 centers. DeMarcus coming back, not sure when, not sure how long it will take him to get up to speed. So we've got a little bit of a void at the 5 spot, which we have to keep an eye on, whether that's through a trade or a buyout. But having the roster flexibility was something important to us. And then also Alfonso stepping into that role at the wing and doing a good job and getting into the rotation. So it was a confluence of factors that led to the decision. It wasn't just one thing.
Was the tax implications a part of it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the financial component was one of the combinations. Like I said, there's 3 or 4 things that went into the decision, but we can't ignore where we are financially. I mean, fortunately, working with Joe and our ownership group, I've never been monetarily driven in a direction. It's always been about winning and staying as competitive as we can. But at the same time, understanding we probably would like to add another piece at some point at the big spot, it would have meant then probably having to release someone to clear another spot at another big. So it all does add up over time. And again, if it had made sense and everything else lined up and it was the right thing to do, I think we would have done it. I don't think the financial part was the only reason, but it was a reason that we had to look at and be cognizant of and aware of. And that combined with everything else made our decisions not match.
Hey, Bob, how would you characterize what level of urgency you feel the team needs in finding a player at the center position before DeMarcus comes back?
I don't know that. I think it's just an awareness and a reality that we have 2 centers right now, and that's not enough in the NBA. Last year I wish we could borrow some from last year. but that's not where we are. So I think we overdid it last year, and maybe this year we could use one more. But Damien's injury is part of it. Made us pretty thin. Makes us pretty thin. Steve's done a good job. We make Draymond a little bit more 5, but with Kavan and Jordan, we lack kind of that traditional 5. I don't think either of those guys you would view as traditional 5s. Maybe modern 5s, all 3 of them, but not the old stalwart, 7-foot bang type guy. So DeMarcus coming back certainly helps, but can't say when that'll be and how that'll go. I'm confident he'll get back and be very helpful to us, but we don't have a timeline for that. So in the meantime, sure, if something presented itself now or in the next few days, we'd look at it. More than likely, it'll come later, maybe in the form of a buyout or trade. Those type of conversations usually start heating up late January with the trade deadline being on the 7th of February. Better for us that it's early because we have that hole right now at that spot.
Bob, like you just said, you don't know exactly the timeline on Marcus, but are you still liking what you're seeing in practice and the reports you're getting from Rick and Steve? Is he still moving in a positive direction here in his rehab?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're nearing the finish line. I think a lot of it now is about conditioning. Rick's great at what he does. We've always said all along we're not going to put DeMarcus out until we feel like he can be safe out there. And I think we all recognize he won't have played for almost a year when he does come back. So I think what we all have to understand, which will be hard in some capacity in the day and age that we work in, of an overreaction to whatever he does, good or bad, when he comes back. I think we understand there's a long timeline, and fortunately we hope to be playing deep into the spring. And so that gives him a few months to get acclimated to what we do. But when he's ready to get back, we're going to put it back out there with the idea of it's not going to be 40 minutes a night, and then we'll ease him into it. But certainly what he brings will be welcomed because he's obviously tremendously talented, but also just the size and the presence is something we're kind of lacking right now.
And so
Alfonso, what specifically does his roster spot, how does it impact what you guys did or did not do with Patrick?
Well, I think it's just having the wing depth. I mean, I think without him, and we didn't plan for him, kind of claimed that spot that was vacant with Pat waiting us out. And so credit to him. And he's been good. He's been good for us. I mean, I think we like his length, defensive abilities, rebounding. He's still working his way in, and he's still figuring out a consistent spot for him. But he's proven, and his teammates have embraced him. And so that's all a factor. If we didn't want to keep him, then maybe we go in a different direction with Pat. But I think to a man on the team, the players and the coaches wanting to keep him, and us in the front office agreeing with that decision, made it that if we were to sign Pat, we would be adding another wing, which is fine. Pat would, I think, help us. But then it probably detracts from our ability to sign another big, and it certainly does. Numbers-wise, we'd have to let someone go.
Bob, obviously Patrick's case is an external circumstance as well as Damian's injury, but how would you assess, what were your initial expectations coming into this season regarding just the influx of young players and how it's matched and how it's played out so far?
As far as everyone, or just as far as how he would have fit in?
No, as far as the whole group, pertaining to the young players specifically.
I think they've been good. I think we made a conscious decision to let our core be the veterans of the team, whether Draymond, Clay, Steph, Kevin have been around, and Sean, Andre. These guys are, many of them, 10 plus, 12 plus years in the NBA. So we didn't change I think the narrative's been we did a complete overhaul. I think we kind of just let you guys go, I suppose, what David does on JaVale, but added DeMarcus to that position. Damien, we wanted to take a long look at. Alfonso's been good at the wing. We assumed Pat would be a guy that would be coming back, and that didn't work out, but that's okay. Like I said, Alfonso stepped into a good role there, and it's been good for us. So realistically, it wasn't as drastic as maybe some think, but you never know. I mean, I always think as far as anything we do with the roster, better to answer those questions in June, because until you played the whole season and seen exactly what guys can do in the playoffs, you don't really know. You've seen many players be great in the regular season and not perform in the playoffs, and realistically, that's what makes or breaks any team, is what you can do in the playoffs. So you build your roster the best you can to succeed there, and if you do, great. If you don't, you take another crack at it next season and try to address areas where you thought you were deficient. But yeah, I think we're happy with it. It's been a little hard to really evaluate it with the injuries, but I think we're having a better sense, and we'll have a better sense when DeMarcus gets back of what role is our bench going to play, how many minutes are they going to play. I mean, we didn't view Kavan as our starting center going into the season, but that's what he's doing. He's doing a great job. So you have to kind of be flexible in how you evaluate all this stuff, and again, even going towards the trade deadline and buyouts. What do we need? What are we lacking? What role have injuries played? Damien being out, that's a whole. He was starting for us. So it's kind of just how you move through it.